everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I had a long day, but a good day, because today I get the privilege of training a brand new acquisitions guy. First full day on the job. So I haven't really had the opportunity to train people as intensively as I'm training this individual, but it was really good. It gets me back into my fundamentals, gets me back in the ring a little bit, it gets me back out there talking to sellers, listening to recordings, listening for opportunities to get better. And I realized, so I have a way of doing it. When I buy the house over the phone, and respectfully, I know there's a lot of great sales guys out there, a lot of great people in real estate. I would put myself up against really anybody, the number one acquisitions people in the country. We're all good at what we do, but I have my own way of doing it. So really what I wanted to do today was document what it is I do. So I listened to a bunch of recordings today of recordings of me, recent recordings, because I got back on the phones to kind of prepare for this training last week, and I realized there's 4 things that I do in every single sales call. And it's not in this specific order, but pretty much everything that I'm doing within any sales call with a seller is one of these 4 things. The 4th thing being the most important thing, so I'll save that one to the end. But like I said, it is not a chronological order. It's always just a mixture or hodgepodge of these 4 things. And the first thing when you're talking to a seller, a motivated seller on the phone, is explaining your process. Right? Explaining how you buy houses. And I go so far as to just tell them straight up and up front, you know, this is what we do. We raise private money. It's very expensive private money, but that's what allows us to buy this property and move quickly. We can buy it in its as-is condition. We're not waiting for the bank to approve us. We can close as quickly, or we can be flexible on the closing if you need time to move, whatever the case may be. But I'm explaining the process of how we buy houses and why we are a good fit, on how we make it easy and how we make it very convenient for the seller to sell his property. So that's the first thing. I'm always kind of explaining the process. Number 2, building rapport. You don't need me to tell you this. You got to build rapport. I build rapport around form, F-O-R-M. In car dealerships, they call it Ford, F-O-R-D. Same thing. Friends and family, occupation, recreation, or what do they do for fun, as well as M is their motive or their dreams, desires, right? What are they wanting to do? How are you going to help them fulfill this dream and fulfill this goal? What is their key motive, right, for wanting to sell the house or wanting to buy a car or whatever it is that you're selling? Remember, building rapport, F-O-R-M, friends and family, occupation, recreation, and then M is the motive or the money. Right? So I'm always either explaining the process, building rapport. Number 3 is gathering data about the house. And quite honestly, I really don't care about how many bedrooms, bathrooms. That's all just table talk. That's conversation to keep the seller talking, so I can listen for little clues that I can either build rapport around. You know, if they say, oh, it's a 3-bedroom, my son's bedroom was the 3rd bedroom, but he went to college at Ohio State. Oh, now I would take that into a rapport opportunity. I ask about the house only to kind of get a general idea of what's going on in the house. I can look it all up. It's all public information. We all know that, right? But I want to keep the seller talking, so I say, hey, why don't you tell me about the house? Tell me about the situation. I like to throw that in there. You know, hey, tell me about the situation a little bit. But that's number 3. I'm always doing these 4 things. Number 1, explaining the process. Number 2 is building rapport. Number 3 is gathering data about the house. And then number 4 is finding out their why, or talking about their why, or talking about the next step for them, talking about the next phase. If they're moving to Florida, I'm talking about Florida. I'm talking about, okay, I'm already kind of planning dates. We haven't even talked about money yet, and I'm already talking about closing dates. I'm closing, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm saying, okay, so when would you want to close this thing? I'm already making them envision that they've already closed the house and they're focused on their why. They're getting to the end goal. We haven't even talked money yet, right? Because they don't like me enough yet. But that's pretty much it. And then, when I'm explaining the process, I explain, you and I are going to come up with a ballpark amount. We're going to come up with a general idea. Obviously, I don't know exactly, how much work the house needs right now. I've never been inside the house. We're just on the phone, but this is the process. We're going to come up with a ballpark range here that works for you and works for them, probably will work for us. And then I'm going to send you an agreement. Do you have email? And I say, you do? Okay, great. You're going to love this. We've really implemented this since the whole COVID situation. But yeah, we're able to get our agreement. It's just a one-page agreement. There's not a lot of fine print. It's very simple. We're going to go through this together. And that's what's going to give us permission to inspect the house. Next, after that is submitted to the powers that be, I'm going to send over and we're going to schedule an inspector to come over, and they're going to take a whole bunch of pictures. And at that point, you and I are going to go through the inspection together. We're going to determine, hey, do we need to go back to the drawing board? And do we need to potentially look at this price and maybe, I don't like the word renegotiate, but do we need to kind of reevaluate the price? Or is it a possibility, and this happens too, maybe we can do a little bit more. Maybe we can actually pay a little bit more. I don't care how much money that you take. I want you to be very successful here. In fact, stepping out of our role play here for a minute, we closed a house today, and I got a testimonial from the lady, a video testimonial, and she said, you guys ended up giving me more than I thought. And I said, yeah, I threw that in there, just even $400 or $500 more. It makes the world of difference. Under promise, over deliver. But stepping back into it, when you're talking about your process, tell them getting this property into contract is part of the process. It's not this big scary conversation like, oh my gosh, I'm going to send you a contract and you're going to evaluate it with a fine-tooth comb. No, you're going to scare the person, right? You say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come up with the ballpark figure, which is kind of what we've bought other houses for in the area. Again, I don't know exactly what the purchase price is going to be because we still got to get it inspected. But what allows us to get it inspected is I'm going to get our agreement signed. It's one page. I'll go through it with you. I do this all day. It's very simple. And then we are going to get this inspection done. And then I'm going to go through this inspection with you. And then at that point, you do go through the inspection. If the house doesn't look as bad as you kind of anticipated, hey, move forward with the deal. It's great. Maybe, hook them up and get this thing to the closing line. But if it does need work, that's your opportunity to reevaluate this purchase price and ultimately, negotiate a better deal for yourself and for your company. Do it after the inspection. But remember, you're already in contract. You can always renegotiate a deal. Just get it in the contract, right? If you're in the ballpark range. At that point, we come to terms on a price here and take it to the closing line. It's really that simple. Just focus on always doing one of these 4 things, as I mentioned: explaining your process, building rapport, gathering data about the property, or learning about their motive or their why, and then play in that space. It's never that particular order, right? It's always one of those 4 things, though. Hopefully you got value from this video. Check us out on YouTube, The Cream Real Estate Investors. It is your boy, Dave P. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll see you on the next video.